What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I want to talk about what's going on with Tesla stock and break down some very important information about it. I'm going to be talking about why tomorrow is going to be a very important day as we have earnings coming out. And what's happening with some other tickers out there from SPY to Nvda and the QQQ, because these things may cause more volatility. These things may have more volatility, after we have these earnings that are coming out. So before I break anything down, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends in just about 2 weeks from now, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. So looking at Tesla, this thing was up about 0.37% for the day as we have a bullish divergence. So from a technical standpoint, it does look like it wants to make its way up towards this 260 area right before earnings, before it gets like a rejection and then just trades sideways. So that is very possible, but that doesn't really matter that much to me because I just want to warn you all that whatever happens tomorrow, it's going to be even more dependent on earnings. I'm talking about like after the market closes, and then I'm going to talk about how like what the expectations are and why Tesla's going to make a very very big move. So I'm going to be talking about this before I break down some technicals. If you want to know about SPY and the others, I will talk about these first before I break down Tesla just very quickly. So as far as SPY goes, okay, we're stuck in this supply and demand zone. We have this demand zone at 432 to 433, and we have this supply zone at 437.5 to 438.5. If we gap up, so we have these earnings coming up basically like Morgan Stanley, the banks, Ally Bank, and etc. If we gap up, watch us test the 438 area, then reject. If we gap down, watch us come down towards 432, then try to bounce off that. That's going to be the most likely move for tomorrow as we're very stationary. For the QQQ, same thing basically. If we break above 368 and hold it, watch 370 plus being tested. If we break below 366, watch it come down to 364. For Nvidia, I just wanted to mention that Nvidia is looking more bearish as we've been downtrending. This thing's been continuing to drop in this megaphone pattern, so we could be watching this thing break below 430. If that's the case, watch it come down to 428, and then last but not least, it's looking more bearish, but Apple's also looking a bit more bearish. Could be a little pop tomorrow towards that 180 area, but it's been on a strong downtrend overall. If you look at Apple, it's been slowly declining, so we could be watching for a test of 178, then a rejection, and for it to break below 176.5. If it breaks and holds below 176.5, it's going to likely come down to 175. And I do believe that's going to be the likely case. So I am seeing some potential downside. Anyways, we're going to talk about Tesla in just a few minutes, but I want to talk about earnings and things like that first before I break down the technicals because Tesla looks very interesting. It is possible Tesla's going to pump right before earnings as we have this accumulation structure. And we could see it try to test, 260 first before it ends up, just trading sideways. But I want to give you guys more context first. So for the stock market, we have some data coming out, but one thing worth mentioning is that we have Powell's speech for Thursday and a bunch of Fed speakers tomorrow, which is going to be for Wednesday. So we have like all these things going on, but nothing is as significant as earnings. Tesla has earnings after the market closes on Wednesday, and we're expecting a gain of 76 cents a share for EPS. And we also are looking at revenue at 24 billion. We will see if Tesla beats or not. Tesla is notorious for beating, so we'll see about that. As far as Tesla's other things go, Tesla, it has a tendency of doing relatively well for earnings, but it doesn't really guarantee anything. Now, Tesla could be seeing more growth, but expectations are kind of weak despite that. Tesla's been slashing its prices over and over again, so we're expecting some weak margins and possibly a decline in their gross profit by 26.4%. Operating margins could be also dropping, according to what Sachs is reporting, and a decline by 170 basis points is basically possible. And we're going to be looking at their operating margins and their gross margins too to see if there are any more declines. So another big factor is going to be their expectations for deliveries. We will see how that changes. We will see how Tesla does when it comes to meeting their expectations. So we're going to be very patient with Tesla. We're going to be seeing how Tesla does. We're going to be waiting very, very patiently and very evidently to see how Tesla ends up doing for this report. So it's going to be coming out tomorrow after the market closes. These headlines are saying that Tesla's Q3 earnings could reflect lower sales, not to mention falling margins, according to these analysts. And finally, the volume and all that's just the same for Tesla. So there's not really a whole lot I'm going to say from a technical standpoint. I think the most likely possibilities if Tesla breaks 257, watch for it to push towards 260, then reject. If we break below 250, that's going to be bearish and Tesla could sink towards 247. Now, the bearish case would be breaking there. The bullish case would be pushing above 257. The most likely possibility from a technical standpoint is this push towards like 260, then a rejection, sideways price action, and we just kind of like shop around a bit going into earnings like this. And we just close maybe somewhat in the green, but very flat. So I think that's most likely what's going to happen. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow with the earnings. But with that said, guys, I thank you all so much for listening. Let's see how Tesla does. I will report on that later, and we will just be patient from this point on. Anyways, I thank you all so much for listening again. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, and peace out.